Hey everybody, so my buddy gave me a lot of footage, and this one here is of him going all the way to Orleans. So I'm just going to kind of show you what it's like to, well, first of all, get to Orleans on your bike if you were going to bike there. But, you know, if you live there or wanted to live there, then you can kind of see what it's like on a bike, and I don't know, I guess it's pretty good. He said he used to live out there around that area, so when he moved over to like where I live, around my area, you know, for him to get to all his doctors and appointments and all that stuff, he has to go all the way out there, and it keeps him in shape, so, you know, he's happy. So he's just whipping down here on Saint Laurent. Like, I've shown you this before in other videos, but, you know, we'll just go over it again. What he has to do is he has to cross like 3 lanes of traffic left so that he can make a left turn onto, I guess it's Cedarville, and then he'll make a left turn onto Ogilvy. What happens here is there's no bike lane, and you know, it gets really, really tight here. So, you know, it's something that we have to be careful of. Now, there is kind of you know, like a sidewalk that he could be riding on, but he's not, right? So, what are you gonna do? And I guess what he's doing here is he's booting all the way up to Innis Road, and he's gonna take Innis all the way down to Orleans. So most people, I guess most people aren't really going to bike on these roads. You can see, you know, wherever there's like you know, a sewer grate or something, it's going to be kind of rough on the bike. So he's just going to move out of the way. And like, I don't even know if this is a bike. Yeah, I guess this is a bike lane here. So what he wants to do here is he wants to act like a car and turn left. And I guess it's safe to do so, so he's going to do it. Now, I guess there's 2 turning lanes to turn left, so he's just going to stay on the right. And it was safe to do so, so he just went through. Now he's going to go in the bike lane here, and this is going to go all the way to Orleans. And first you got to go past Holiday Innis. Yeah, they have a bike lane the whole way down. What he's going to do is he's going to cross all the lanes here left so that he can turn into and use the so that he can turn in and go through Blackburn Hamlet. Now, I guess he's doing that because there's no bike lane, or it really is just too dangerous to take that stretch of Innis Road. But we'll see what he's doing. So you can see there's like some kind of repair truck here parked on the right side of the road where they have to be, and my buddy's gonna have to pass him, so, you know, he has to do it when it's safe to do so. And really, it's kind of like a residential street in here, I suppose, or like not necessarily a main artery, but the speed limit's like 50 kilometers an hour. And there's this car here that wants to turn out. He's over the sidewalk, but, you know, these are locals, right? It's their own little part of the world here, so it's not for us to really judge. We're just showcasing what it's like to live out in these areas and what it's like to bike out here. One thing I can tell you is anything that happens almost regularly in the area where I live, you know, downtownish, is going to happen like hardly ever down in these areas. Until you get into the major residential areas. Now we know why my buddy went through Blackburn. It's just a little bit safer, and now he's booting on Innis Road. Remember that, right over the grate, the sewer grate, and you can see that the cars are really, really booting, and there's no way that they're doing the limit. They're all gunning it. At least they're giving them lots of room, right? So that's commendable. The best thing to do here is to just go over into the passing lane. There's no point in just staying in the right lane. It's cutting it a little too close. You can see that guy, he just you know, went over into the left lane. And you can see these 2 cars here, they're almost side by side, so you can't really give as much room as you should, like this guy here in the black car. And now we're heading into a 60 kilometer zone. Oh gee. Now that's kind of scary, like big dump truck there. And he didn't even move over or anything, so, you know, wow. Okay, and then the bike lanes start, so I guess the infrastructure, the cycling infrastructure isn't necessarily designed for people commuting to this area or from this area, but for people booting around in this area, it's not too bad. And now buses are always going to be a problem here. You can see you can't really scoot right, and the bus is going to have to encroach on the bike lane, and you just have to wait. And look at that guy, stopped well behind the stop line. So this guy here, he's out into the crosswalk, but still, you know, that's what it's going to be like, right? In heavy residential areas. So, and now one thing I've noticed here is that sometimes the bike lane kind of goes out in the middle of the road, and sometimes it hugs to the right. Like this one here, for instance, it hugs to the right, like near the sidewalk, and the right turning lane is over on the left of the bike lane. Whereas in other areas, the bike lane is on the left of the right turning lane. I don't know. I don't really get the design there, but it's there. And I guess that's where being a local will come in. You know, you'll get to know your streets. So if you're booting around in here in a car and you don't know the area, right? You don't know the ins and outs like the locals do, then just slow her down and don't be assertive or aggressive, because you just don't know here. Now look at this guy here. He's a little bit over the stop line. I don't really see the point. Like, you should be able to just stop your tires behind the stop line. Now, I'm not really ripping on the guy because he's not in the crosswalk, but like, you have to know the length of your vehicle, and this does not demonstrate that. Again, you got that bike lane to the right of the right turning lane. I think that this is best, but I guess there's a reason why they do it in the other areas. I guess it's more beside a mall. Oh, look at that. They jam you over, right? Out of the right lane. That's kind of a bit of a dangerous... But everyone's got to pay attention, so... my buddy here, he's just going to cross all 3 lanes of traffic. He knows where he's going, so... Like, he used to live around here, so he's like a local, you know, on a bike. I'm not really sure why he's not booting through the back streets, but this is the way he wants to do it, and I think maybe, you know, to a certain degree, he's showcasing it for us. But I think this is the way he actually does it all the time. Because he's given me videos where he's come out this way a couple times, and it's always the same. And yeah, there's a lot of things that don't change. Through the stop signs, and I guess everyone's going to be like that everywhere you go. Now this roundabout here, he never takes the bike lane. He always just boots around it. But again, to just kind of showcase this area, like, there's a bike lane to go around these traffic circles here, and you know, it's much safer to just use those unless you're an aggressive rider like my buddy. And there you go. Like I was saying before, residential areas, you're gonna have bikes on either side of the road. It won't matter. You have to pay attention to this. You have to really anticipate this. And this guy here, again, you know, stopped a little bit over the stop line, but not in the crosswalk. I don't know. I guess that's a local thing, right? An Orleans thing, maybe? I don't know. I don't live there. I live downtown. Okay, and you can see there's a school bus here. He's on my buddy's left. There's nothing really my buddy can do. He's going to have to either thread the needle or, you know, just slow down, let the bus pass, and then pass this parked vehicle here when it's safe, and that's what he does. And you got a crossing guard, so it must be heavy pedestrian traffic along with heavy traffic, period. And you got this guy on the bike here. My buddy's coming up to him. And this guy slows down for the stop sign. My buddy goes through it. You know, everybody has their riding style, so you just have to be wary of that. Some people are going to stop, some people aren't. And quite honestly, the streets out here are like really big. Oh, you got cyclists there, you know, but they're out of the way of the traffic. Yeah, the roads here, they're huge. And here we go. You know, it's springtime, so, you know, they're going to have these lakes, right? Like, these are flood areas. A lot of the cycling paths are going to be by the river, and it's always going to flood. And I don't know here. Like, I'm pretty sure that Orleans was just built on a swamp. I remember when I was a kid, they were building that up, and, you know, it was all like swampland. Yeah, I guess my buddy's getting lost here. There we go. I guess he was using Google Maps there, and it's telling him where to go. I guess he was finding an alternate route, right? Because he can't really take the path, so I guess being a local, you don't know all the routes. Now this gets like really tight here. These roads here, they're a little bit tight, and like look at how bad that pothole was. Damn, that's a lot of potholes. So my buddy made it over to the path, and you can see here, you got a guy with a dog. He's over there. He's off the path, not sitting on the path with his bike, and his dog's off the path. And quite honestly, he's just chilling there, not chasing the bikes like they do around here. Okay, and again, now you got this guy here turning right. He can't go right because there's traffic ahead of him. So what does he do? He goes and he's not straight. He's sitting over in the bike lane, and you know, at least he's not sitting on the sidewalk, right? But these are things you have to be wary of. Like, you're not supposed to do it. I don't understand why people are doing it. A vehicle, like a car, you can move it very, very quickly. Why do you have to, like be right behind people? Just use the vehicle for what it's worth. If you paid $30,000 to $50,000 for this thing, like, you know, it's not like it's going to fail you. It's not like it's going to fail you speed-wise. You're going to be able to do it a lot quicker than, a bike or a pedestrian. But whatever, like maybe it's a local thing. I don't know. Look at this e-bike here. It was safe to pass my buddy, but like look at the acceleration on that. Now imagine that, like a guy just gunning it, like going that speed, but on the bike path, like on the multi-use path. It's scary. And what happens, right? Like what happens if you get a flat? You're going into a pedestrian, and I don't know. People aren't thinking like that. I'm in a way, I'm kind of helping cars to be aware of what's going on. I know most of them don't care, okay? But like a cyclist is a cyclist, whether you're on a leg-powered bike or you're on an e-bike. And just because you're on an e-bike you go faster doesn't mean that you don't respect everything else that's going on. There's pedestrians, there's slower vehicles, slower bikes, I should say, and gunning past them just because you can, it's the douche move. Like, you're a motorcycle at this point, and it's only a matter of time before someone gets hurt, and then you're not going to be able to go on those paths at all. And here we go. Here's the perfect advanced green right here. Everybody goes. Okay, now where it gets douchey is at the end when the light turns green for, say, my buddy here, that lane, and then you got about 10 cars going after the light's red. You can see it's almost starting to happen here. Perfectly done. Like, I guess it's because they ran out of cars. But, that was perfect. That's the way it should be. There shouldn't be like 20 cars like booting after, just because you're going to miss the light. Like, a light's only, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes? Maximum 3 minutes. So, like, if you can't wait 3 minutes, I don't know what to tell you. And we're going to see a perfect crossover here. So this guy wanted to turn right. So what he did is he just cruised right over the bike lane, giving lots of room for the bike that he passed, and then went into the right lane and into wherever he was going. And now look at the speed limit here. It's 80 kilometers an hour, right? My buddy's on the right side of the road. Now this can get kind of dangerous. And you can see here that there's no bike lane. There's no sidewalk. There is on the other side, but my buddy's not having it, right? He wants to be a vehicle. He has every right to be a vehicle, and he's doing it. To be honest, every car there was perfectly fine. You'll notice that not a lot of them stayed in his lane, because what they did is they just moved over to the other lane. And I think they did a good job. And if you're watching this, you did a good job. There we go. The bike lane starts and up the hill. Okay, so basically my buddy here, he's at the intersection of Saint Laurent and Innis, and quite honestly, he could have just kept going, down, I guess it turns into Industrial Innis Road, and he could have just gone to Belfast, like to the mall, then to Belfast, and it might be a little bit safer, but he wants to do it this way. He wants to go down Saint Laurent, like super busy street, and he doesn't even want to use that like sidewalk thing. Which honestly I think is a bike path, but this is the way he wants to do it. He wants to be on the road, and maybe he wants to be a role model, right? He wants to show you that you're able to do it, and he's doing this every single day. Maybe not this run, but he's on the road every single day, and he's not getting hurt. He's not getting run over. There are some close calls, and I've shown you in these videos, but for the most part, like, I have to say, cycling in Ottawa is pretty safe. Now you can see here how if he was on that that sidewalk there, he would have had to like hop off the curb, and I guess that's one of the reasons why he's just staying on the road, because pedestrians don't want cyclists on the sidewalk, and cars don't want them on the road. But legally they're entitled to be on the road and not on the sidewalk, believe it or not. As you can see there, he's just whipping in and out of the traffic. Like, there's not much analysis that needs to be done, except for here where he's he wants to get over in that left lane, right, so he can turn left, and he's just going to split the lane right here. He's just going right through all the traffic. Now let's see what he does here, because he's going to want to get in that left lane. So basically after that crosswalk, he's going to want to move over into the left lane, and let's see what he does. You can see the left lane there, so what? I guess it wasn't safe for him to go left, so he's just going to split the lane all the way down to the light. Well, pretty much all the way down to the light. There's some holes there, the traffic, cars left some holes, That's what they're supposed to do. You're supposed to leave a car length. And my buddy took advantage of that, and there you go. He went into his lane, and he's ready to make his left turn. Now, for the most part, like the rest of the way back are just uneventful. He's still alive, he made it, and you can too. So I hope this helps you out. If obviously you're not going to commute by bike to Orleans. If you do, then you can see that it's relatively safe, but it's really long. And I think he said this was like 50 kilometers or something like that, 50 plus kilometers. Really what we're trying to show here is cycling in Orleans. Like, it's a heavy residential neighborhood, and for the most part it's pretty safe. Like, there's good cycling infrastructure there, and if you were looking to move there, I don't think you would have any problem if you're a cyclist. Okay, so we'll thank my buddy for this footage, and I'll catch you on the next one.